Okay, there we go. How's everybody doing? Oh, you want a Extremeries? You want a link to the minis in my intro? I put them on my Instagram. I'll make sure that I share that at some point. But a lot of them, if they're printed, they're Patreons or my Mini Factory minis. Anyway, let me go ahead and jump into things before I start talking too much. How's everybody doing tonight? Some of you already said great. It's just me tonight. Bulk might be coming in a little bit later, but Ambo was going to be with me, and she is not feeling well, so we're going to be doing this tonight, and you have to put up with just me. I've got a slightly new camera and microphone set up I'm still trying to adjust to, and I had to reinstall Windows on my machine, so some settings still are not perfect. But I'm glad y'all are here. 14 so far. That's good for an impromptu, very early stream. I decided to go ahead and get started early tonight since we had a hole in the schedule with some of our State of Decay people not feeling well tonight. So, I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple of things before we get into the painting tonight. As you can tell, I've got this this very white Black Knight here that I'm going to be doing some work on. That the most basic level of paint is already on him. If y'all are interested, I'll show you how I kind of got to this level on the white, but I'm planning on doing him up in, well, I'll show you in a bit. But that said, one thing that I did want to do this week, since some of you mentioned last week you would have liked to have seen where we ended up with some of the mechs and minis that we've done in previous weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into that. In our first week, this is our third week of painting with Parallax here at WBPL 76. We worked on an Atlas painted to resemble Scrombles, who I have it on good authority does not like Scorpion. That is the Atlas. I've tried to insert some better pictures here than I can possibly get on the stream camera, but I'm awfully happy with the way that Atlas turned out. And that same week, we also did a king crab in colors modeled after the BPL flag. I had to finish him a bit off stream. I didn't quite manage to get all of the trim done on him, but I've gone back and done that, added a little bit of highlighting here and there on the king crab. So I'm awfully happy with how that one turned out also. And then last week we did two models for Bowser's Secret of Monkey Island game. And we did a Ghost Pirate LeChuck and an Orion in colors to match. So that's how they turned out. That is those two, and again, pretty happy with both of those. I did a little bit more edge highlighting on LeChuck after he was done to kind of give him some more of that Scooby-Doo ghostly kind of color scheme there. I don't know why in my world ghosts are blue with green highlights, but they are, and they're my minis, so I get to do that. Okay, that said, we're going to go ahead and hop into things here tonight. Let's see. Now, like I said, we're going to do this Black Knight, and I'm going to do him up as... I've been doing an awful lot of Knights of the Inner Sphere mechs lately. I should have thrown that into the opening, but I'll go ahead and show you this. This is a Phoenix Hawk that I did to match that style. I've got a unit of Knights of the Inner Sphere and a unit of Free World Guard. I was going to go ahead and match up the Black Knight here to the Free World Guard, since I've been doing a lot of the Knights of the Inner Sphere lately. But they both kind of start out on the same level with this white base coat, and then it's going back in and either adding purple or gold depending. In either case, I tend to gravitate toward a green visor for that, to really offset that versus everything else. But then the other thing that I've got here tonight is a little bit of surprise for everybody, and I'm hoping you'll enjoy this. I did a test run on him over the weekend, and he worked out great. in week one we did scrambles as an atlas. Well, this week we're just going to do plain scrambles. I've got here a Hero Forge mini that I worked up, and I've gone ahead and put him into the armored vault suit kind of configuration, and we're going to work on getting him into his own ghastly level of glory. And I'll give you an idea of what we're looking at on him with the test model that I did, and we're going to be aiming for roughly the same thing on this, but this is how the test model turned out. And as you can see, Scrambles punch. And Scrambles punch a lot. Scrambles make people have bad day. So, no, as of this instant, I don't have any Urban Mechs primed. Hey, Sparrow. And if I did, I might consider Son of Scramble, who I've been led to understand also doesn't like Scorpion. It just turns out that, it's a quad mech in that case. So, we're going to go ahead. Oh, and before I get too deep into anything, for the life of me, I cannot remember what this mech is. Like, I know it's an Inner Sphere mech. I know it came from the Kickstarter. I don't know what it is offhand. It's number 60 based off of the bottom of the base here. But I don't remember what it is. It's not tremendously descript. But I figure that I can use this to show you all how I'm pretty happy with this white paint job here on this Black Knight. I figure I'll show you how I managed that. And we can start there and move on from that, because this is a shockingly simple little process where most of the time that you're talking about doing painting and trying to cheat in some highlights and that kind of thing, you're usually dry brushing stuff just to, get a quick effect to either, bring out all the edges on one thing, or you're trying to add some wear and tear or that kind of thing. This is a similar technique. It's very related. And I didn't learn about this until I started getting more invested in painting last year. This is a process called overbrushing. And overbrushing is a lot like dry brushing, except with overbrushing, you don't take as much paint off the brush. So, I'm just going to thin that out a little bit because I'm still using that heavy body artist acrylic that is still amazing and is still better than any mini paint in white or black that I've run into. So, okay. A lot of the paint off of this, yeah, that's pretty good. Load that back up just a little bit more and get the worst of it off. Okay, so as you can see here, this is just kind of a modeled kind of finish on this, where I tried to work in some kind of zenithal highlighting without actually having to do it with a rattle can or anything like that, and it worked well enough. You can see all the edges. It's a good guide. But whenever you come in with an overbrushing technique like this, you just start at the top and come down and try to skip over as many panels and gaps and that kind of thing. And it's just like dry brushing with more paint on it, honestly. So all I do here is I just come down and get it a little bit heavier than you do with a dry brush. And with a dry brush, you're always trying to come in at one angle and just catch the edges and that kind of thing. With this, you can kind of change your angles as long as you're avoiding those panel gaps and things to capture the same effect as just kind of painting the panel would. But you're just getting the stuff you want. So by coming in and hitting it like that, and coming in perpendicular to that, now that panel is white, but that panel line is still in there, and that's real nice. And you can also, do this in such a way that you can preserve some of that shading that's already in there, and that's handy. So, let's make sure I understand what's going on here real quick. Got to check a message. Give me just a second. Apparently, my co-host is having some issues. As some of you are identifying, I have a very loud keyboard. It's an IBM Model M, or actually, realistically, it's a Unicomp. Unicomp out of Lexington, Kentucky. That used to be the Lexmark factory, and they got the licensing and tooling for the IBM Model M's back in the 90s, and Unicomp's just been making them ever since. Clickety clackety. And it is the most tankish of all keyboards. Shockingly not as mechanical as you think it is. It's a buckled spring keyboard. But it still actuates on a rubber dome, which is shocking to me, really, that they've always kind of done that. But they still hold up like nothing else. It's amazing. I've got some, cherry switch keyboards and that kind of thing. And I like them for the feeling and all that kind of stuff, but there's nothing like the sound. There's nothing like the sound of a buckled spring keyboard. It's the best. And also, it's survived 2 kids so far, so that's also nice. Okay, just getting a little bit more of that white onto this mech. I know I've seen it lately. I know I've seen what it's called. Can't remember. Don't remember what the hell this mech is. I'm sure somebody knows. Wasn't one of them I was too excited about, so it doesn't stick out in my mind. Some mechs just aren't that exciting. And some mechs just aren't that awful that they stick out. Some mechs are very middle of the road, and you don't immediately recognize them when you see them. Some mechs are everywhere. If you've played Battletech or MechWarrior 5, like trebuchets, you know a trebuchet when you see it because you can't get away from the damn things in those games.
Hardest thing to do is run up at him.
Hey, hello. There he is.
Hello, everybody. Happy Cinco de Mayo, Revenge of the 5th, whatever you're celebrating today.
There we go. As they like to call it here in South Texas, Cinco de Drinko.
I think that's most of America.
Yeah, it's just weird to hear the locals say that too. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So, Bo, how are you doing tonight?
I'm keeping dry.
Oh.
If you want some of that wet, I would have gladly given it to you.
I'd be happy if you'd send it down here. I'm trying to make some grass grow. I keep offering everybody that's north of me in the Legion, I'll split the temperature difference with them, and nobody ever takes me up on it.
Bro, I'd just about take that.
Well, it was about 90 here today, so...
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do for 70.
Yeah, sold. Bulk, you don't have any idea what the hell this mech is, do you? Oh, I am a little bit off camera.
What have you got here? You're off camera right now.
Let's get that fixed a bit. There we go.
What are we here?
No, that might be too high.
That's not an assassin.
No.
I will admit, I don't know what that is.
Oh well, I'm not overly concerned about it. I was showing these nice people on the internet how I managed to get a nice white complexion on these mechs. The way you do. When apparently...
All right, 2 kids about done.
What's that?
Yeah, that's right. 2 kids about done.
Hey!
Also known as the one-time Comstar did something nice.
Well, that's true, but
unless you were,
I'm not actually aiming for for Comstar on this. I'll grab an example real quick. It's sitting on a shelf behind me. It could very well be a Comstar mech, but, you know, I've been doing some Knights of the Inner Sphere lately. I showed this off earlier. And, well, I mean, honestly, that could be a Comstar mech. Like, that could be a Comstar Honor Guard. I've chosen to believe it's Knights of the Inner Sphere, but until I actually put some icons on it, it could be either one. Now, what I'm planning on turning this Black Knight into, and I guess I'll go ahead and do whatever the hell this is, number 60 on the Kickstarter list, is a Free World Guard. So, very similar paint scheme, it's just, you know, purple instead of gold or stark white. So, Bulk, you got anything going on this week? You want to pitch to the people real quick?
Well, honestly, all we've got right now is Farm Sim Fridays. The ride along is indefinitely on hiatus. We need to do some audio work and and apparently, vibrations are an issue. So we lost image stabilization on a camera.
Oof. Well, that's not what you want to hear.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to sacrifice a second camera to see if it was just that model or what. I'm going to have to work on a mount, and I'm going to get a GoPro.
I don't blame you a bit. I'm running on a pretty janky system right now where I've got both my microphone and my webcam both on mini mounts that are just kind of clamped on to a movable shelf here by my desk. And, like, I've had to do some janky shit to get this microphone on here. But it's working. It's working. And I don't know if you were on the stream a little bit ago when I was showing this off, but tonight we're also going to do a Scrumbles. Not a mech
more
Scrumbles.
and goodies.
A real Scrumbles.
Okay, so Pagan Horde thinks that the mech you have is an Ostwar?
Maybe? I guess we could look it up real quick. On my loud as hell keyboard that chat seems to like.
Oh, bro.
Oh, man, I got an IBM Model M. It's the loudest of keyboards. Let's see. Sarna.net/wiki/Ostwar. Maybe. Let's see if I can... Maybe. Doesn't look like it was in the Kickstarter. It doesn't have art. Well... We'll not worry about it this instant. I can see where you get an Ostwar, though. It does kind of have that, but the Ostwar doesn't have hand actuators. Anyway, so...
Cracks are calming.
Okay, so let's grab... Oh, do we want to start with Scrumbles, or do we want to start with the mechs? We'll end up doing both. Well, with that resounding answer, I'm going to go ahead and go with, let's start with Scrumbles, who I've been led to understand, punch.
Yeah. I mean, I was just waiting for chat to respond on it, but...
Hey, I'm just thrilled that with no lead in, I've got 33 viewers. It's...
Yeah. Dude, you're popular.
I don't know how to handle that. I've never been popular in my life.
Well, I know how you can handle it. You grab that brush and you get down.
Oh, baby. Somebody asked me last week or the week before, what kind of brushes do you use? Well, almost everything you've seen me use so far are either the cheap number, I think these are number 8 brushes, size 8s. So cheap, it's not actually printed on the brush anywhere that's visible. That they just come in like a pack of a dozen from Hobby Lobby, if you can stomach going to Hobby Lobby. And then these black-handled ones, these are Marie's totally from China horse head brushes. I don't know. I was given these. My father gave me these off of eBay. So he found them. He bought them for me. I have some excessively nice brushes that are over here, but I only break those out when I really need them because, you know, they're like $15 a brush.
Wow.
Yeah. This shit gets painful whenever you start getting into nice stuff.
And I just got some army painter kit, and that worked out pretty nice for when I was doing my stuff.
Yeah, Army Painter's probably a little bit better than like the brushes that Citadel packs in. Those Citadel brushes are shit.
Hmm.
The ones that they put in the kits. Like, I know that they have some brushes that they have on contract with like Winsor Newton that aren't shit. But, you know, they're also not Winsor Newton Series 7 or something like that. So, anybody that's watched this stream more than once will not at all be surprised when I tell you that my brushes are from Monument Hobbies, because I keep, you know, talking about how much I like Monument Hobbies stuff. Paints and brushes, and if I could get any of their brush cleaning goop, I probably would, because I'm starting to run low on what I got. Of course, I want to get a good order together before I do that.
Yep. And we don't want to give Daddy Bezos any money.
No, not if I can help it. I'll hop on the Army Painter website and, you know, deal with the Danes before I'll do that. And I'm saying that I don't want anybody to think I'm talking down about Army Painter.
I just don't like the Danish.
Okay,
That's
how
it is.
Yeah.
And yet you don't have a problem with me.
Well, I mean, there are things I could say there, but I don't want to risk deplatforming us.
It's all right.
Okay, we're just going to keep on getting... Now, if any of you saw me put any extra medium into this, this is the same ad hoc kind of contrast medium I've been using. It doesn't, you know, turn regular acrylic paint particularly into contrast paint, but it does kind of give it a few of those properties. And that's all we're really looking for here. We want this dark blue undercoat to really sink in. And we want to let that dry for a little bit. Scrumbles is starting to look, you know, like Vault Suitish. And we'll go ahead and we'll switch on over here to our Free World Guard boys. I guess we'll do Mystery Mech and this sexy-ass Black Knight from the fine people at Catalyst Game Labs. Catalyst Game Labs, because Battletech is good.
Yeah. Only Citadel brushes I use are wash and dry brush. Huh? Hey man, I won't really knock Citadel brushes. They're just, as other people have said, they feel overpriced.
Yeah, particularly the Citadel brushes I'm talking down about are the ones that they pack in kits. Those are trash. Like, the ones that they sell by themselves, those are fine. Those are fine. But for dry brushing, there's nothing that quite beats a makeup brush. And like I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, you should get the biggest damn makeup brush you can." I don't want the biggest damn makeup brush. I want a makeup brush that I can actually direct where shit's going to go. But makeup brushes are wonderful for this. And for washes, the cheapest damn brushes I can get. Like this. I don't know what this is. It's got a plastic handle. This is a piece of crap. Does washes okay, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an exterminator?
Yeah, I guess it is. Let's look it up.
Oh, no. Okay, that didn't... Well, it's not... No disaster. It's possible. It's just possible that putting mechs on bourbon lids may not be the best thing when in, you know, especially... You're right, it is an exterminator. We have solved the riddle of the mech. Excellent. So, mounting mechs on round bottom bourbon caps, perhaps not the best idea.
65-ton heavy mech. Never heard of it.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't sure what it was. Kind of snuck up on me. Now let's see. Purple boy here. Let's start off here on that chest plate. Now, if you were asking me about brushes, I would tell you you're going to do most of your work with, frankly, awfully cheap brushes. Like this brush, maybe it was 50 cents, and like as long as it's got a point on it that you can work with, is fine. Like that's really the thing. People always talk about getting, the smallest brushes they can get. You don't need small brushes. You need sharp brushes.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, don't be afraid to get rid of them whenever a synthetic brush starts to go on you, because they're cheap. Like that's the great thing about these is it's like $6 for a dozen of these things, if it's that much. And like, yeah, you just toss them when you're done. It's fine. Get another one. They're nice and sharp when they start out. They slowly turn into, you know, slopping on washes brushes, and eventually they're not good for that. Maybe you cut off the bristles and you turn them into dry brushes, and then you just throw them away. I mean, at some point, maybe they put on base texturing or that kind of thing. But, there's a life cycle to these things, and you shouldn't be afraid to use it. And then, be done with it.
You're right.
Just like anything else. You use it up until it's useless to you, and then you get rid of it. Just like friends.
Wow. I thought you kept those around for that, just in case you need somebody to take a bullet for you.
Yeah, I mean, that depends. I don't know, man. Sometimes you hear some people talk about stuff, and you're just like, no, I can do without that.
After dry brushes get too bad, they make good stapling brushes for rust and grime.
Yeah, they can. They can. Although, I'll tell you this. For applying, like, modeling paste or basing medium or that kind of thing, these silicone sculpting brushes are perfect because they never wear out. They scoop stuff up nicely. You can move things around, etc., etc., and they do, they're great. They're a little bit more expensive than the shit brushes, but they're the right brush for the right job. Okay, and I just made a number one boo-boo there. And I accidentally reactivated some paint I had already laid down. Whoopsie doodle. So sometimes after you put paint down, leave it the hell alone until it's dry. These are things that you just pick up over time.
Yeah. Oh, darn, now I gotta go over the thing all over again.
Damn. And see, at the very least with this one, it was like, okay, I'm just going to put another glob of that paint on there. I didn't screw it up in the highlight process or anything like that, so that's a small blessing. I think I need to thin that out a little bit more. Maybe even add some more acrylic medium to it. Okay, let's see, how's that doing? That's doing okay. Let's get that Shredder from Ninja Turtles face guard painted too. I don't know what it is about the Black Knight, but right up until this one, I liked the mech, but I didn't love the aesthetics of the mech. And then CGL made this thing, I'm just like, fuck, it's like a Power Ranger Zord. I have to have it. I don't know what it is about it, but it just kind of... It's very Power Ranger-y. It's more human than human.
Now I'm hearing White Zombie, thank you.
Well, we here at the Tyrell Corporation are here to please our customers. So we here at Painting with Parallax, we're not exactly the weekend stream, but we're the almost weekend stream. You see, we're here to help you ease into your Friday. So, Bulk, have you been having a good week?
This week's been okay.
Yeah.
Had a fun one at work. I couldn't had a hose that was supposed to get delivered not get delivered, and ask where it was, and they said, "Oh, it's not here." And then come back later in the day. Hey, guess what? It was here after all.
Oh well. I I hope there's some kind of an excuse for that, but somehow I bet there's not. We didn't look hard enough. That's what I'm pretty sure that translates into.
I'll give somebody the benefit of the doubt. There was a big pile of boxes.
Ah.
Not alone.
It seems like roughly half the Legion, at least the streaming part of the Legion, has been sick for one reason or another all week. So.
Oh, yeah. I've dodged that bullet, thankfully.
That must be nice. My son brought home the flu over the weekend, and not just like, oh, he's got flu. No, like he went to the pediatrician, and it's like, oh no, he's got the type A flu, and then everybody had it.
Thanks, son.
He had it.
Your little,
sister had it. Everybody had it.
You little typhoid Mike.
Lord, I won't call him that because then he'll go around calling himself that, and I don't want to have to explain that to the daycare.
Explain what to the daycare? They know what Typhoid Mary is.
I understand that, but I don't need him wander in and go, I Typhoid Sam. No, let's not do that. Let's not be Typhoid Sam.
Yeah. What? You guys don't like Sam and Max Freelance Police?
What?
Oh, it's Sam and Max. From.
Oh no, I remember I remember them from the Lucasfilm game. I know they exist outside of that, but.
Oh, dude, they had a cartoon of them.
I know there were
comic book series. Yeah, the comics were really good. Then again, that was like during the time when Fox would like, oh yeah, we'll
Sam and Max, we'll put that on right after The Tick.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, we'll totally do some freaking Dark Horse Comics stuff.
When can we work that in around Savage Dragon? No, I'm sorry, that was on the USA Network. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Around that same period of time, there was like a Mortal Kombat cartoon and that kind of thing. Because,
I'll do your head in. We had Mortal Kombat. We also had Street Fighter.
Oh, yes, we did. Yes, we did. And just for the record, these were not animes.
They were American.
And they were that kind of special American made to piggyback off of the popularity of something that already exists and not add anything of value.
Yeah, I was going to say, Street Fighter just kind of reminded me of, like, GoBots.
Kmart Transformers? Yeah.
Yeah, the Kmart Transformers.
Let's see. He's looking pretty good.
Don't forget the Starship Troopers series. Wow, that's one I'm not aware existed.
Oh, yeah, it was a CGI show. It was one of those early 90s kind of somewhere north of Reboot on quality CGI shows. A Reboot, by the way. There's another one for you.
Yeah. Oh, my God. We are helping!
Oh, boy. Here's the one that always sticks with me is remembering back to the days of the late 80s, particularly, when you still had, like, toy giants like Tyco making cartoons specifically to sell toys. And there was one that my brother had that they sold the hell out of the toys, and they couldn't move this show that they had, but it was called Dino Riders. It was the most fucking rad thing ever.
Oh my god, I do remember that stuff.
It was fucking amazing.
Yeah, the toys were just like,
Hey guys, do you like dinosaurs? Do you like lasers? Do you like dinosaurs with lasers?
110%. That right there.
Shit, man, I'd watch that now. Like back in the day when you'd watch Dino Riders and then the Centurions in an afternoon. God, there were a lot of shows in the 80s that were just, show, make, toy, sell? Show, make,
80s, 90s, I mean, G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Mask.
Transformers. Yeah. Then you look back and there were some, like, movies and stuff that had toy tie-ins that just don't make any sense. Like, why would you make a toy line out of, like you said, Starship Troopers? Like, that movie had toys. That was not a children's movie. That was very not a children's movie. Alec Baldwin's The Shadow. Yeah, I can see how that would appeal to kids, but I can't.
Aliens.
Yep, Alien 3. Oh my god, the toys with Alien 3.
Oh, and Predator.
Yeah.
Predator had a toy line.
God, I just remember that Alien 3 toy line just being, like, all the time.
Oh, yeah. We're talking, like, the weird ones.
Well, what
Vectron. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And Captain Planet was...
There never were many toys with that. There were some toys. I know they were out there, but...
Yeah, you had, like, the Planeteers, the main villains, and...
Captain
Planet, and I think the Jet.
Maybe. But, you know, I mean, on the other end of the bell curve on this, there were awesome shows that also had awesome toys, where you remember that X-Men cartoon from the 90s. That fucking rad X-Men cartoon.
God, that stuff was so good. Oh, and Iron Man.
Oh, that was a little bit later.
Spider-Man.
And the Spider-Man, and those were amazing. The toys were great. You know, it's not like looking back again into the 80s where it was like, I guess we're going to get these Super Friends figures. And it turns out these Super Friends figures have no articulation or anything. But, you know, they were toys in the 80s. What do you expect? Man, those X-Men toys, they just made fucking everybody. It's like, Synapse. Fucking who?
I guess Baneblade, it was like, yeah, the Planeteer Jet, yeah, so I'm not, it wasn't a vapor dream. Thank you. I mean, I'm going off like 30 years of memory.
Yeah. And then, you know, there were some shitty toy lines out there that just never really worked. Like, Playmate Star Trek toys. I had those, but, like, they were the least dynamic looking and feeling toys that ever existed. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of them. But, oh boy, I got Dr. Crusher. What's Dr. Crusher going to do?
Oh, good God. Howard the Duck would have been nightmare. Yeah, it still kind of is nightmare fuel.
Yep.
Because they decided to make him, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style.
Thank you, George. Thank you, George Lucas of Star Wars fame, for making Howard the Duck. Probably the worst thing he's ever done. Probably.
Oh, dear. Wait, was Ecto-1 made out of metal?
Good God. I don't think so. I had some of the other, did I have... I don't think I had any of the vehicles for the Ghostbusters toys.
OG Thundercats. Yeah, the Thundercats had a lot of good toys made out of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to call that base coat on him done. We'll come back in a little bit and do some
Yep.
shading and that kind of shit. But we'll go ahead
Yep.
and do this exterminator while the paint's out.
Hey, while you've got your working on it, could you bring your camera up just a little bit? That way, it's pointed more towards your red palette.
Oh no, that's paper towel.
Oh, paper towel. Okay, because I was gonna say you just keep on bringing your stuff
sorry.
naturally up there.
Yeah. Let's see if that's going to work.
Yeah.
And waiting on the delay.
That's
That's
better.
still a little. That's probably real fucking.
Yeah, Square Bowser sounds like he is doing a bad impersonation of Tex.
I'm going to ask you a question, Bolt.
He is feeling
Does
better.
anybody do a good impression of Tex?
Howdy there, folks. Tex of the Black Pants Legion here.
You see, that
How's
feels
that?
like a no. That feels.
I mean, now I can do a much better impersonation earlier in the day
That's fair.
when my
Like,
throat's all
right-
relaxed.
Right when you wake up in the morning, like. I can sound like Tex when he was still drinking.
Mm-hmm.
What was I
Golden
doing?
years of micro. Oh, Exo Squad! Holy
Oh,
crap!
man.
Now that was a show that was surprisingly deep.
I'm not sure if you've heard of this one, but around about 1996, there was another like Stompy Robot cartoon about BattleTech. I don't know. It's kind of obscure. Most people haven't heard of it.
All I know is Renegade HPG did God's work truly, remastering that.
You know, in the last
And then he went and did another pass of it.
to get the sound right. Yeah. In the last 6 weeks, my son and I have watched all of it, and he wants to watch it again. Now, this is another thing that you can do if you want to get some more of that shading on here. I didn't do it on the Black Knight, but I'll do it on the Exterminator here. This is one of the few contrast paints that I like that I can't duplicate with what I've got. This is Apothecary White. This just kind of, does that contrast paint thing and settles in the middle of things and pulls away from edges and all that kind of stuff and tones down this bright white to something more realistic. But you do have to shake it way the hell up. All the pigment settles in the bottom. I'm sure you can all hear that. Okay, there we go. And again, you just kind of start at the top and go down, and go back to it whenever you start to run out. Make sure it doesn't pool too badly anywhere. You just want it to tint. And you always remember that the paint's going to look a lot more saturated while it's wet. Once it dries, it'll lighten up. And just trust the process.
This Warhammer army? Nope. Boy, he is currently working on an executioner.
Got that BattleTech.
Mm-hmm. Painting up America Force.
Yep, that's... I'm a Free Worlds boy.
Playing Purple Burb. Oh, wait, we never left.
We've just been too busy fighting each other for the last 300 years. Every now and then we come up for air, kick the shit out of House Liao, and go back to fighting each other.
Well, Liao deserves it.
Well, I mean, yeah. Occasionally House Steiner says, hey, You remember this free world, guys? We should go try to take some of their shit. And then everybody stops and stares at them like they're the people in the dreams in Inception, and just kick the shit out of them, and then go back to fighting.
Yeah, like, hey guys, House Steiner, remember that thing called the Third Reich? Remember how that turned out?
Deutschland, Deutschland.
Yeah, Uber Alice is not going to save you from our fury.
You wake up the Free Worlds League and they fight you with everything they've got, like a gang of angry howler monkeys for a few weeks, and then the war's over, you know.
Although I must say I do like the Landsknecht Atlas.
I am still trying to figure out from Bruin's animation how I'm going to make some of those models. I haven't figured it out yet, but by God, I need some of them.
Right?
I need Sound of Music Atlas.
This is amazing. Merrick Dogs. All right, Baneblade.
That's
why I kind of sit on the fringes of Davion and Tarian space. Wait, are you in the fucking hedge money? Blah.
The Marian Hegemony?
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Because we're a pirate kingdom, but we like Rome, too.
Hey, the Night Clerk, thank you for the sub.
Yes.
Mr. 2 months here.
Reminds me, at some point I need to re-up my subscription to this. I'm not sure when that's going to expire. We appreciate everyone's subscription here at WBPL 76. Listener supported, but WBPL. Listener, viewer, you know. We're a nice mix of that urban NPR station that has funding and that rural NPR station that just plays some fucking nuts bullshit every night. I always loved those stations.
I'm more of a fan of old PBS.
Yeah, that's fair. This is the numeric workshop right here.
Numeric workshop. There you go.
Shit, am I gonna have to rename this show?
Yep, we're doing that right now. Diggs can be mad.
Oh. Oh, Lord. Maybe that's what we need to do. We need to change the name of the show every week to an old PBS show.
Yeah. Supernova.
Some week we can be, I don't know, the Davian chef.
Oh, who was that old Creole chef from on
shit.
PBS?
Oh, shit. I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about, but I don't.
Oh, add a little bit of white wine. Oh, it's going to taste so good. Justin Wilson, yes.
Maybe we can work in some of the Wheelwright shop, you know, get all that kind of that stuff. The Meimer shop. There we go.
The joy of Comstar.
You know, I'd say something about Ken Burns, the Klan invasion, but I'm pretty sure that's Texas shtick, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Ken Burns baseball, except it's all Solaris jocks.
War Crimes Rainbow. You know what? If we had no, we need Pete for that one. I honestly think that Sleepy Pete would make a great LeVar Burton.
Oh man.
My God. I almost feel bad about that. I could have actually seen LeVar Burton. 3 weeks ago.
Bulk.
Oh well.
Bulk. All you wanted was a picture. You can't disappoint a picture.
I would have actually preferred a Q&A panel with him.
No, I don't blame you. Burton's an interesting dude. Burton's fun to listen to. He was on an episode of Leverage in this new season they're doing on IMDb TV. And as it turns out, he was like a retired undercover super spy. So, just Burton things.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen him at a con?
Yeah, that's what I could have done is I could have went to a con, but I'm a cheap ass when it comes to conventions. I looked at the $80 ticket for one day and said nope.
I don't blame you. I haven't done a whole lot of cons, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from. But
a good one to go to if you live in the boring ass state of Kansas. Smallville Comic Con in Hutchinson, which actually takes place in the State Fair Park, is a very good convention to go to. Because it was $12 for the day.
Hot damn.
$30 for the weekend.
I know that back in Kentucky, there's Lexington Comic and Toy Con. That's one my brother goes to every year. I'm not aware of one in South Texas. I'm sure there's some in San Antonio, but I've been out of the con scene for a while.
Yeah.
As I was going to say, if you can catch, the entire, or at least, most of the Next Gen crew at a con, it's great to go and see them just because then you get to listen to Jonathan Frakes yell at other cast members from across the room. Not in an angry way, but just in a you're loud friend kind of way.
Hey. Hey, Deanna.
I had a friend of mine catch him in Nashville once, and she rolled up, and she went through the trouble of getting on eBay and finding the old trading cards from the early 90s. And she came up to Frakes with with a 3-ring binder full of trading cards and set it down in front of him. And he looked at it and said, "Are those trading cards? I haven't seen trading cards in years." And he stops, and he's sitting on one side of this ballroom, and LeVar Burton's sitting on the other side. He stops what he's doing. He cups his hands around his mouth and goes, "Hey, Burton, this girl's got trading cards."
Hey, welcome, Kathy.
Okay, we got some good blue there on Scrumbles. Let's start getting some other colors on it. Everybody's favorite contrast paint, snakebite leather, because it's just good. It's good.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm okay.
You know what? I had a brain thing.
Oh Lord.
Doctor Who fans know about the archives that got burnt down.
Oh God, dude. The friend I was just talking about, she was so deep into that shit as far back as the 90s. She was one of those people that used to trade VHS tapes through the mail with people.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah.
Well, she would have strangled me. I won't go into that.
That's okay.
Anyway, Yarhar and Doctor Who and archiving. But anyway, moving away from that, PBS did play a lot of Doctor Who, and I'm starting to think, could one of the PBS stations have one of the lost episodes somewhere?
It's possible. That's not impossible. I think most of the lost episodes were from those real early seasons, the first through the third Doctors, and
the episodes that were black and white.
Oh yeah, and some of the early color ones.
Yep. There was a torrent out there that has those episodes, and hard drive failures are a thing.
Oof.
Oh, Night Clerk giving subs to Darth Caviar and Ghost Reaper. Thank you very much for those gift subs, and congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. As we said earlier, WBPL 76, viewer supported.
And thank you for following Santac 1. Suddenly we're getting a little popular in here.
Hey, what are we up to? We got 37 people. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not, Farming Friday, but it's pretty good.
I'll give it a bit.
Oh, let's see.
Lost
Okay.
Doctor Who archive. That's the losing the dang Library of Alexandria. Yeah, there was a there is a seed out there, possibly still to this day, that has a lot of the early episodes around somewhere. But yeah, I removed that seed and only heard about the loss like 5 years after it happened. I wasn't a huge Doctor Who fan. I'm not, but a friend's older brother was, and I went out of my way to spend 3 months downloading it for him.
Wow. We forget about the dark days of slow torrents sometimes.
That was back in the day when having 128. Well, when having a 1 meg connection was quote shitting in tall cotton. So I just put it on 56K and walked away from it, and I said, "Well, I'll let you know." Because we're in America, we're not getting that early stuff.
No. Well, we weren't at the time.
No.
Just remembering, way up in the hills of Appalachia in my early adolescence. Like, oh, we got the internet. What have we got? 14.4. Woo-wee.
Boy, don't you remind me.
Boy, howdy. I'm going to make this,
I'm still mad that the neighbor's dog was purple and had a hole in its tooth.
There's a reference there I'm not getting.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Gotcha! The old man always looked at him, and he had masks just hidden all over the farmstead. It was weird.
Like when we burn out the external hard disk drive on deployment. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Was I had a 2 TB terabyte hard drive, and then he spent like, what was it, 107? No, like $200 to get a hard drive big enough to fit all the Doctor Who's on. That took 3 days for it all to transfer.
That's SATA
And
version
then,
1.
No, this was USB.
Okay.
But anyway, transferred it over. About 3 weeks later, I received a lightning strike on that computer. First computer I ever built, by the way. Took out that hard drive, took out another hard drive, and then, oh yeah, it also got the video card. That was the big oof. And then, like 2 months later, that laptop hard drive that he had, more or less, died.
Oh man.
From him watching the Doctor Who stuff.
Well, at least he got to witness it.
He got to witness some of it. Ooh, Ed, and Eddie. Yes.
Eventually all streams with people in our age group turn into, remember cartoon? I remember cartoon. You know what? We're perfectly happy to do it.
Yep. 97.
There were some fever dreams back then of cartoons, too. It was like, what are you watching, buddy? Street Sharks.
Jawsome. Biker Mice from Mars.
There you go. Shit that lasted a season, one season, entirely to sell toys. The Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that.
Now, just so we're clear on this, and some of you may not know, Cowboys of Moo Mesa. COW in this case was an acronym, and it stood for Code of the West. And by the way, they were anthropomorphic cows.
Yeah.
That that goes without saying for those of you that know, but why would you?
Cowboys of Moo Mesa was 2 seasons. Yeah, it was actually more popular than you honestly thought it would be. It had
It was one of those shows that had no right to work and yet kinda did.
yeah.
It's kind of, not quite as off the wall as that last season of Reboot where it got all gritty and dark. But,
Oh yeah, when Enzo grew up.
yeah. I'm going to assume you're right on the name there. I don't remember. But
I kind of remember the name because Ferrari. Reboot is getting reboot. I'm almost not okay with this.
From my understanding, I don't think you should be. Like, as I seem to remember having read about it, it's like not anything at all like the original, but also we're not target demographic anymore, so I'm not gonna get on a soapbox over that.
Of course. It's kind of like what was it? The Thundercats reboot, the Teen Titans reboot, the
Which Thundercats reboot? Because there were two of those, and one of them was okay, and the other one was
the one with
the one.
CalArts
Yeah,
style.
yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the He-Man reboots, either of them.
You don't like the Kevin Smith He-Man?
Kevin Smith needs to eat a hamburger. He looks miserable.
He might be miserable.
I honestly think some honest to God dead animal protein, and if there's any vegans in the chat, I mean, you do you guys, but I just look at him as like that would probably get him some type of brain chemical released back into his body that would just make him less sad looking.
I kept waiting on you to say funny again.
Well, the funniest time was when he was silent, but there we go.
Oof.
Ah.
But, it's one of those things that in, what was it, 1993 when Clerks came out, and they're doing shit like, hey, we're talking about nerd shit as adults and, things people actually do. And that was novel at the time. That shit didn't happen in movies and TV. And now it's like, that's what culture is now.
You can thank, what was that, Big Bang for that?
You might at the same time. It's not quite as. Big Bang wasn't great for that, but at the same. God, Ready Player One was just that with the gas all the way to the floor.
Lord. All I've done is heard about it. I haven't seen it.
I've managed to avoid seeing it. But I mean, even the book. The book is the same way. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to build the Iron Giant. And it's like, okay, so I guess in the future the internet is just Gary's Mod. Which I guess there are worse things, but there are certainly better things.
Kevin Smith eating meat. Yeah, it's a stretch. It's a stretch, but yeah, it could potentially make him a good director again because he'd get maybe some of that chemical imbalance that he's suffering from partially diagnosed and treated.
Well, it's kind of like Craig Ferguson has said about Drew Carey. Was he remembers when Drew Carey was heavy, when Drew Carey was fat, and he'd talk about, that's the fat was where Drew kept all his jokes. That's where the funny bit was. And now Kevin just kind of looks like a little bit like a cancer patient, and that's not funny.
Mm. Yeah, but he's still a decent host for the prices, right?
He is, but he's not really a comedian anymore.
Nope. You know what? I would honestly love to see him do like a year or two of road work. Knock the rust off. Maybe get him back into Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I would be absolutely on board with that. Just there are a lot of those comics that were real big in the 80s that we could all... They would benefit from doing that shit again. At the same time, I mean, you run into people that were that, and they just said, we can't do that anymore because people get so easily offended now.
Mm-hmm.
What was it what was it that happened over the weekend or this week where another comic got... It was Dave Chappelle got attacked on stage at the Hollywood Bowl.
Somebody tried to stab him.
This is the world we live in now. We're not allowed to make fun of things because, someone might stab you.
Yeah.
You know who else might stab you if you weren't funny? Nazis.
Yeah.
Just so everybody's aware, I am going for hyperbole on that.
Is that Scrumbles? Yes.
Yes. This will be original Scrumbles classic, we'll say.
Knife Fight City. Oh no, Dave Chappelle's in Knife Fight City.
Oh no.
Knife Fight. Yeah, Dave Chappelle, master of the Wu-Tang Fist. Sole proprietor of the Rick James style.
You have to watch out for his fuck your couch style. Okay, let me go back. Now, I want everybody to look real close at this. This mini right now looks like shit. And this is a very important thing for everybody to know. All minis look like shit right up until they don't. And that is really a thing. Minis are gonna look like shit for a good portion of painting them. You're gonna have to go back and fix stuff. You're gonna miss spots. There's gonna be this. There's gonna be that. You're gonna have all kinds of shit where, there's gray stuff here. I haven't highlighted this. This needs more shit. And it's gonna look like shit right up until it doesn't.
Yep.
Don't get disheartened. Maybe sometimes get up and walk away from it for a few minutes, but
Oh. We got to stretch and a hydrate.
Oh, shit. Stretch my hands. How's that?
Yeah.
Arms over my head, because y'all can see this, right? And let's just assume bourbon is hydration, right?
Yeah, that's a type of liquid.
Sure.
Put in your body.
It's good for you.
Good for your sanity.
It kills germs, whether you put it on you or in you. Make a note, not in you. In you doesn't do anything for germs. I don't think. It might.
Where'd you get that mini? Baneblade wants to know.
The Scrumbles Mini? Why, that came from the fine men and women at Hero Forge. And I bought the STL, and, if you'll give me just a moment, I'll get on super clickety-clacky here, and I will share the configuration for it. You'll have to forgive me for this taking a hot moment, because I reinstalled Windows yesterday, and I have, like, no logins, and things take a minute. Okay. Heroes. Scrumbles. Where's my Scrumbles? There's my orc I named Yoltar, because what else do you name an orc? Okay, there's Scrumbles. And we'll share.
Oh, yeah, there's a good name. Good names for orcs.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop Scrumbles right there into chat, and go at it, guys. There's Scrumbles. If you'd like to order one from Hero Forge, you can do that. If you'd like to buy the STL, you can do that. Oh, thank you for the sub.
Oh, with the Prime.
Weird mimic STLs. I could get those.
Yep.
I haven't done that yet, but
Oh.
oh.
On that one, I had a conversation with a friend who does the artwork stuff.
You know, the general artworkiness.
Graphics designer, but anyway, she did an emote for someone, and it is an animated D20 mimic.
Ooh.
And I just thought of that. When she did that, I thought of this: mimic dice in Shadowrun.
Oh no.
So you've got some elves shooting dice down the corner, and your guy gets over there and starts shooting dice, but you were doing a little bit too well. And then you hear them snap their fingers, and now your thumb's missing.
Oh, that's perfect. You know, that could be used just about anywhere.
Right?
That could be a D&D thing. It could be a Shadowrun thing. Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Do it in Traveler.
Mimic bedrolls. Oh, no.
Never trust anything you find on the ground. Gonna have to get my Goliath fighter some mimic bagpipes. So that the next time one of the other party members complains that he wakes up at dawn and plays the bagpipes as the sun rises, that the bagpipes can eat him.
A violin mimic.
Oh no. Which end is the mouth? Does it eat the hand or the neck? I feel like I know the answer to that question, but...
I was going to say we could just go with the next, its tongue. Just wraps around your neck and away you go.
I guess that's one way to have an adventure hook.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some yellow on the Scrumbles here. Because you can't have a vault suit without a little bitty... And you see, this is where we're going to switch over to a smaller, pointier brush. Smaller, pointier brush. Because sometimes that's what you need. And this is a number 1 brush. This isn't like a 00 or anything. It's just got a sharp point. That's all you need. If you can get a larger brush with a sharp point, then that's even better than having a little tiny brush, because it'll hold more paint in it. It doesn't dry out as fast. It's great. It's great. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Is everybody in chat having a good week? Got anything planned for the weekend? Oh, I'm reminded that the Summer Games Done Quick schedule comes up this weekend. Like, the game list is already out, and I'm excited to see some stuff come back. And I know most of the other people in the Legion don't pay attention to the speedrun stuff, but I love watching the old games get speedrun. So I'm happy to see this year there's some Super Metroid come back and some old Mario.
I'm not huge into GDQ, but I can appreciate a good speedrun.
Oh, yeah. Like this year they're doing... Oats and Goats is running... what is it? It's Super Metroid Kaizo, so it's going to be obnoxious as fuck. But it's going to be fun to watch him die. Probably. He has done deathless runs of it. And then there'll be relay races and all that kind of shit. And they'll have a crowd again. And there are some people I've seen that say things like they don't miss the crowd, but it does add a lot to the energy. Even if sometimes it gets a little obnoxious to hear a crowd shout "orb" for the 4 billionth time in a week.
Got 3 inches of rain for this weekend. The night clerk's taking mom out for birthday din-din.
What about Mother's Day? What about Mother's Day din-din? That's this weekend, by the way. Call your mother.
Yep. My mom did not realize that the bath bombs that she received were actually the bath bombs. Well, one half of the bath bombs that my middle sister has given my nephew's girlfriend for the past 3 years. So we just re-gifted the bath bombs to everybody.
If they don't notice, it's not a problem.
Well, I mean, it helps if to give bath bombs to people that have a bath.
Yeah. When we had my daughter, my wife and I were renting a house that didn't have a bathtub, and that wasn't a problem until there was a baby.
Yep.
Then it was a problem.
Oh, that's where you get one of those foot tubs.
You just wash it in the kitchen sink. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Apparently, I bathed in the kitchen sink for a couple of years.
Just hit you with a little bit of Dawn, get the grease off you. You're fine.
Hey, if it works for...
ducks.
If it works for seagulls, it works for your kids.
They're roughly the same thing. They're both very possessive and, very verbal without saying much.
Angrily poop on stuff.
Yeah. You seem like you're very familiar with seagulls there in Kansas, man.
It's weird. Tornadoes do a hell of a thing to them. Actually, they go up the Mississippi.
I've been hearing that apparently lately, seagulls have been displacing pigeons in a lot of places, even inland. Mm-hmm. So, who knows?
Yeah, at one of my work sites, I've actually seen that happen.
Somehow they're worse.
Yeah. Their poops stripped off some of the paint off my work van.
Ooh. You see, luckily, I have a tremendous problem with bird's nest in the tree over my driveway. But that's Grackles, and I've only lost a little paint, and I'm not sure it's their fault. But they're still fucking trash birds. Fucking trash birds. The note of fucking trash birds. I'm sure everyone's very interested in this. Very, very interested. I have no doubt that everyone's hanging on the edge of their seat for a bird fact. Who doesn't like bird facts? So there's the family of birds that crows and ravens belong to. Corvids. Includes blue jays. This doesn't mean anything to anybody. But it does explain a lot.
Yeah. Utah seagulls are the state bird. Story checks out, man. Gonna make giant mutant seagulls for a Fallout project.
Oh no, they're like
you need to give them a Fallout name, man. That's one thing you don't. Yeah, I was gonna say that's one thing you don't see in Fallout enough of is actual flying enemies.
Blood gulls. Man, I don't know. After New Vegas, like I'm traumatized enough for a lifetime off of Cazadors.
Yeah, this is true. I was
you always rush old world blues first, so that you can become immune to poison and then get payback.
Nah, I just take my Cazadors in shifts. They're like third-degree burns.
You don't have to worry about them too much. As long as you're not trying to go north out of Good Springs.
Oh, you mean the route with chest hair on it?
That's the one!
Oh, man.
I'm going to play Fallout, and I'm going to go ahead and cut up through the quarry here in the middle of the map. What's the worst that could happen, Deathclaw?
Deathclaws. Oh, yeah, you're going to go through the middle, huh? Mother Deathclaw.
Have I introduced you to the matriarch Deathclaw? The what? Just highlighting some of the purple here on our Black Knight. Now that, I'm actually occasionally going to talk about painting here. Now, this is a painting stream, I've been led to understand. This is the old Merrick workshop, after all. By the way, thank you for changing that. That's amazing.
Did it change over?
It did.
I tried changing it.
It did.
Okay, good. Ranger Sequoia.
Oh, everybody needs a revolver that'll break your wrists the first time you shoot it.
Yeah. Implementing mutant cat-sized brine shrimp. Good lord, man.
At that point, you're just basically...
Bonus points if you just call them sea monkeys.
Oh, shit. I was going to say you just go with the leeches from Half-Life 2, but that's even better. Of course, you got those toothed dolphins in Fallout 4, and, suddenly I'm glad they never actually finished the underwater portions of that game, because I don't need to clean my britches that often. Because nothing is as frightening as deep water, and whatever is in it.
That's true. Bronc Buster, welcome to chat, man. The new Bob Ross with killdozers.
Yeah, this is just going to get a little bit of white here on the top of this PPC barrel, and we're just going to go ahead and blend that in here and get that going, and it's gonna be real nice. And just this is your mech. You can do it however you want to. And
Happy little LBX.
Get some happy particle projection kills here. Because everybody likes no ammunition and kinetic damage. Yeah, we need to do a little bit of blending on this. Now, this is the part where I come in and I try to do something. And it's important that I make a note of try to do something here that is a practiced skill that I may or may not have practiced enough yet. But we're going to try just a hair of wet blending here over this purple. Because that's an awfully harsh transition from the light purple to the dark purple. And one way of doing this that's perhaps less migraine inducing than the normal method is to actually get the area you're going to paint wet before you put some more thinned paint down on it. And then, it'll thin out the paint a little bit more and it'll move around a little easier and it just kind of blends itself nicely. Occasionally I like to give out tips on here. I don't know if anybody is getting anything out of them, but by God, I'm going to try. I'm going to make painters out of every damn one of you one way or the other.
And thank you, Night Clerk, to give Bronkbuster his sub. He doesn't even know if he wants to stay around. Here, have some emotes.
Let me show you how to make the bear emote.
Yeah. I threw that. Since that one's good, I threw that out. Days' emotes are the BPL equivalent of NFTs, man.
Well, anything Zenith makes is, so.
Well, I mean, she did make the board goat, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Does the BPL have a public Discord? No. We do not.
The closest thing that I'm willing to tell anyone about is that there is an outpost for BPL related things on the Everything Battletech subreddit. If you want to talk to people that love Battletech and BPL stuff, that's a good place to go.
And you might see Tex on Everything Battletech as well. Don't PM him, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good way to get blacklisted. Just throwing that one out there.
Tex has little enough free time as it is. Lord, I don't think really any of us that aren't actively engaged with something with Tex are altogether comfortable with eating up any of his time.
I was going to say the totally legit and legal purchase from him took me 8 months.
Yeah,
just because I told him we'll do it as we've got time.
What was this?
It was a firearm he had worked over. Diggs emote is more bearable than NFTs. Square, there's... Let me count them. In the BPL Discord,
there's no shortage. Because Zenith just keeps making them. She does a wonderful job on them, in case anyone wants to ask, but...
I believe 79 of them.
Jesus. We got 250 people in the group. That's like a full third of them. I'm going to have to complain to Zenith to get one now. I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I'm not going to do that. Hey! Hi, Fries.
Yeah, Fries, there are 9 per row, and there are over 8 rows worth of Diggs emotes, man. Discount Dan presents this old drop ship. Oh man, that would actually be more along the lines of TLC's ship flippers.
Oh, that's amazing.
I love the premise of it. That's a great one. But yeah,
You
This'll
bring me a
ha-
drop ship, and I'll give you something back. Especially if you give me money.
Yep.
Because that's the Discount Dan guarantee.
I don't know, man. If we had a fried digs, would that be like an electric chair?
That'd be a bear with a bucket of KFC.
Bucket of Popeyes. Oh my gosh. Wait. No, I don't want fried chicken. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Peripheries Test Kitchen. Yeah, all the emotes are like fusions of digs, or
Diggs and Psyduck.
or some weird random stuff. We got some of the Space Station 13.
No,
emotes around.
wait. You've left out a whole bevy of Tom's ass.
Oh yeah, we got like 4 Tom butts. Those will never get on Twitch.
No, they will not. You know, there's not safe for work, and then there's not safe for life, and then there's Tom's ass.
Then there's Wide Tom's bean ass. New Rossel hog cooking. Butt shake. There are 3 different settings for the butt shake.
There's a very enthusiastic thumbs up from Pablo.
Oh yeah. Of course, we've got Boulder,
Well, of course we have Boulder.
and we've got a Bowser, and we've got I think we've got 2 different flavors of Psyduck. One is Psyduck back when he was a mod, and the other one's just Psyduck. Oh yeah, we got Aloe without a shirt on.
Aloe's natural state.
Mm-hmm.
That is starting to look a little bit more scrumbly.
We got Green as an emote,
Green.
aka Red, aka Moose Thompson.
There you go.
Couple of Crow emotes.
It's only a matter of hours now before we have a Rogel Dorn.
Yeah.
You know, ever since he moved to Van Zandt, he's just getting out more.
Wish he'd stop pouring concrete.
Hey man, he's just trying to make sure that the Grand Ole Opry and shooting range is safe.
It's perfectly safe as it is. If it falls in on itself, ain't nobody gonna get hurt.
I don't know, man. Those
That doesn't deserve it.
shotgun pogoers, man, they're rough on the place.
This is why we specify birdshot. Practically peaceful compared to 40k. I'm gonna be real with you. If there isn't any warp fuckery involved in 40k, I think Van Sant would fit in perfectly. And be one of those. Yeah, the Imperium fucked around, found out, and decided that they didn't want to deal with it right now because it's just like Tau space, only it's one planet.
I was gonna say it's like right on the boundary of Tau space, and they like send some ethereals down one day to check it out and be like, "Hey y'all, greater good," and Van Zant's just like, "Get back in that ship, blue boy."
Oh yeah, greater good's all great and stuff, and then they're like, "Wait a second, you want me to do what, my Willie?" Or to
We
find
don't-
his farm for shot pogos.
We don't like your kind around here, blue boy.
Listen here, the only thing we worship is 45 or John Moses Browning and Star League.
We'd like to welcome y'all here to the cult of 45. 15 world wars and counting.
15 world wars, 3 successions, and going.
What do you mean there's been 4? 4 successions. Somebody write that down. 4 successions, a civil war. What's a clanner?
How many militia units are on Van Zant?
I don't know how many are on Van Zant, but I can tell you a good portion of them are not on Van Zant.
I'll tell you right here now, there's enough. Don't try it. Keep on flying, Comstar.
If you want to ask, you're welcome to find out. But I do want to remind you, there's only one way to find out how many militia units are on Van Zant. And that is, of course, fucking around. Because
I was gonna say one more after you land.
Welcome to Van Zant. We LS swapped this catapult. What do you think?
Hell yeah, brother.
I don't know what a catapult on a lift kit looks like, but I know Van Zant knows.
Oh, you ever seen Khan's trebuchet? It's got the Carolina squat on it now after he lost his shin actuators.
There's a whole unit of quad mechs that have shorter front legs and back.
No, those are the stink bug mechs. Yeah. I remember what to write down. What you find out after fucking around, it counts as science then. Nutsack trailer hitch. Oh, dude, every urban mech has its own nutsack trailer hitch.
I'm pretty sure that's a regimental badge. Mech nuts.
Mech nuts.
Your average pair of mech nuts is the size of a Chevy S10.
Good lord. Though real talk, hasn't Michael Bay ruined Stompy Robot Nuts?
Only if you choose to acknowledge it.
This is fair.
We're reclaiming Stompy Robot Nuts here at the BPL.
I'm taking Stomp Nuts back. Yeah.
For the record, I'm not taking Stomp Nuts back. Like, you can have that one. Now we need a sharper, pointier brush. And this is where you get into the real damn small stuff. This is a 000. There's very, very few reasons to ever use this. But eyebrows are a reason.
Brows and eyeballs, right?
I'm not even going to bother with the eyes on this one. I'm just going to do the brows.
That is fair.
However, you start to run into a different problem because my paint's drying out just a little bit, and it can be a real pain sometimes to get this shit to work right. So you add just a bit of... I'm using the same medium I'm using for contrast on this, but it's got a little bit of flow improver in it, and it'll just make that shit work a bit better whenever I go like that. And yeah, there's paint on them now. There we go. Yeah, he's got eyebrows. We'll have to clean those up a little, but you know, it's not like you're cleaning the toilet at a Chinese buffet or something. Gonna do? Yeah, that'll do. Give it another layer of a little bit of flesh tone wash on that face. let him dry for a bit, and go back to a mech. Everybody loves the mechs. I assume that's why everybody's here.
Van Zant would strap 60 MGs to the damn thing. Okay, the damn thing.
The damn thing could be anything in this case.
The catapult. Which, yeah, Snords.
Savannah Master Cheese originated on Van Zant.
Yep. Willing to bet Snords does trade with Snord does trade with Van Zant. Probably.
Probably half of Van Zant's irregulars are from. I'm sorry, Snord's irregulars are from Van Zant. It wouldn't be at all surprising.
He just keeps poaching the good pilots.
The good pilots. Let's see how many quote marks we can get around that.
Enough.
One more than used. That's the answer. That's how many we need. Doop, doop, doop. We're just going to stipple on a little bit of silver everywhere we know there's a rivet or a loop or a buckle. Rivet, rivet. Buckle, buckle, buckle. He's not perfect. That's okay. Remember, never let perfect be the enemy of the good enough. And if you didn't learn anything else from the Warhammer video, learn that. Okay, now we're going to move back over to our good friend, the White Black Knight. Get some silver. That's not the silver I want for this. I want the dark silver to start with. It's been a while since I said it, so I'm going to go ahead and say it to everybody again. It's Mother's Day weekend. Call your mother. Did you call your mother yet, Bo?
Oh, I will call her on Saturday. Because that means there's a good chance of her being awake when I am off work.
As long as you do it. Chat, call your mothers. And Goliath Scorpion showing up to trade at the swap meet and gun show on Van Zant, trying to find what clapped out. Bubbid Star League stuff was there. You know, I imagine there's quite a bit. Hey man, I got this here Crusader. I done put a whole bunch of like wood stocks and shit on it. It's real good now, man. Take a deer from like 40 clicks.
Put a revolver rifle on it.
Shit. I got me one of them clan mechs, and I didn't like all that fancy shit on it, so I took it all off and just replaced it with heavy rifles. You know, whenever that first MechWarrior 5 DLC came out, and it was like, by the way, here's some like periphery shit weapons. It's like heavy rifles, and I'm just like, I'll take it. What'd you do with those heavy rifles, Para? I made poor man's Gauss rifle spam.
Yep.
And they only fire twice a minute, but by God, it counts.
Yup.
Para, how'd you just take down an Atlas and 2 Alpha strikes with a medium mech? Well, let me tell you about heavy rifles. I want everybody to know I'm not necessarily advocating this is a good idea, but it is a fun idea. And sometimes that's the point. Actually, I think frequently that's the point, but
Keep trying to picture Van Zant's aerospace arm, and I keep picturing the cheapest goddamn thing they can fly with a nuke strapped to. Yeah, bunch of Super Terracanos.
Man, we got us a whole bunch of OV-10 Broncos on clearance. They weren't using them no more, so we just went ahead and took off with them. Nobody said nothing, so we just used those. We can carry us a real big bomb in that cargo bay.
Yeah, do you think they still have C-130s and B-52s in this era?
What you got there, Jethro? Well, that's a UH-60. You flying an Iroquois? What you got in there? I got me a Davy Crockett.
Fortunate Son intensifies. Oh, wait, no. It would be Unfortunate Son in that case.
Nobody tell him how big the blast is.
Oh, we ain't worried about that. We just get up to maximum altitude. Yeet!
Hey, man, what's this mean when it says nuclear mortar on it?
Oh, God. What was the name of that artillery piece?
Like the recoilless rifle with a...
No, the 200 mil.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the nuclear howitzer was. Like, I remember it, but I don't remember what it was called.
Atomic Annie. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I was not sure. Thank you.
It sounds like a cover song that somebody modified to be just unique enough not to get sued of Mustang Sally.
Yep. Davy Crockett Crew's the only people who issued sunglasses.
That was to keep him safe, you know. Because that would do it.
Well, from what I understand, the Davy Crockett had one range bracket, and that was maximum.
Well, I mean, you're shooting a nuclear warhead out of a recoilless rifle. I don't think it's going to go that far, no matter how hard you try.
Well, I mean, the payload on it was high enough that even the people you could not get into a safe area with it.
No, that's what I mean. It's like you can't shoot it far enough to be safe. So
It was quite literally, yeah, we're gonna fire this off the back of the Jeep, and then we're gonna run to this foxhole we dug, and we're gonna start drinking iodine. Just hope you aren't shooting into the wind. Yeah, last thing you want to do is be downwind of some very angered fidget spinners.
I remember being in college, and where I went to college at Eastern Kentucky University, we were about a 20-minute drive away from Bluegrass Army Depot. I don't know if you're familiar with Bluegrass Army Depot, Bulk.
Not at all.
That is where the entire stockpile of U.S. chemical weapons are. And as it turns out, the prevailing winds from Bluegrass Army Depot tend to blow toward the campus. So that was one of those things they didn't tell you when you're on the tour.
The wind shifted direction. Hope you like the smell of CS gas.
Be a damn shame to lose an entire honors group this week. Oh well.
They need to be made out of sterner stuff anyhow.
They're made out of cement igloos.
40% of the VX gas on Bluegrass neutralized now. Oh, that's good.
Yes, but how did they get rid of it? They incinerate it on site. Which I'm sure that's also healthful. It's full
Well,
of them.
on the bright side, they don't have to worry about blue jays.
No, as I remember, the nuisance bird on campus was starlings.
They chemically neutralize it, according to Sombra Stewart.
Oh, that's my brother. Hi.
Ah!
Well, they weren't chemically neutralizing it when we were in college. They were incinerating it.
Well, duly noted. I'll know who to ban first when they get.
I mean, screw that guy.
Yeah, screw that guy. I mean, that's how you treat your brother, right?
Yeah.
Ban.
It's not the worst thing I've ever done to him. I'm the younger brother. I do all kinds of terrible shit. We won't get into it right now, but it's a good story. Ask me later. Because as it turns out, sometimes when you're a kid and you're mad about stuff, there's no reason. You just do shit without thinking about anything. And sometimes it's amazing. And sometimes it's awful. And sometimes it's both. And I still look
Awfully
back
amazing.
on it. I look back on it and I laugh and I think about how fucking horrible it was. Do. Well, he's clearly happy about things. Oh, wait.
Eyes.
What you got going on, Cake Boss? Oh, let's take a stretch real quick. I don't think anybody sent me a stretch, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Ain't gonna do it on your own time.
You get that one for free, guys. Oh, wait. Let's see. Then we'll just get a little bit of this in there. Because I like having super bright cockpit glows. Especially, most of these mechs don't have the big fucking bubble canopies that they have on, like, the Battlemaster or anything like that. So you get these little bitty things, and you got to really make them pop. And that's the other thing you got to do whenever you get to, like, a PPC or something like that. It's a...
Oh.
Yes.
We did get a hydrate, though.
Oh, shit. Now I gotta refill the glass. I'm not drinking the paint water, guys. I'm sorry.
No Dunkin' shenanigans here.
Oh, thank you about the really slick Marauder 2 sitting on the desk. Which one is that? That's this one, yeah. I had his barrel broke off, so I had to replace it with a piece of styrene tubing. Sláinte.
Load.
Let's see. What was I doing? I was getting a little bit... Did I get the white paint out? Yeah, there it is. Thin it out a little bit. Here's how you do the reasonably good, quick PPC glows. You get the inside of that barrel white, and then you wait for that to dry, and then you just put a little bit of a blue wash in it, and it'll settle in around it, and there will be this nice little bright nub in the middle of it. It's great. Great. I'm not... There's no amount of goob to make me drink paint water fries. I've managed to not do that on accident in the last 3 years. I don't want to break that streak.
Not broken, it's just battle damage. Oh, if you could, like, intentionally daisy an autocannon.
Shit. We're getting back around to that Savannah Master spam again, aren't we?
Hmm.
Those of you that don't know, Savannah Master spam
Good night, the law.
is when you take a Savannah Master and you strip all the weapons out of it and you load it up with nothing but machine gun ammo. And then you ram a mech with it. And because it's like melee damage from a mech, it automatically crits, as I remember. So it automatically causes an ammunition explosion. So all that machine gun ammo packed into that Savannah Master explodes right under a mech. Nothing survives that. Because, like, if you have 3 tons of machine gun ammo go off all at once, you roll the dice just like normal. At least those were the rules at the time. I don't know if that changed. Mech IED. Yeah, a little bit. It's one of those kind of Mr. Welch list kind of things you're not allowed to do at a table.
Yep.
Still love listening to him read that list every now and then, just so I can get to when somebody says you can play any D20 legal race in this game, that doesn't mean System Lords.
MG ammo would do more damage than, say, Thumper ammo. Doesn't it?
I think whenever you're talking about it in terms of per ton, it can.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of MG ammo in a single ton. Doopy-doo. Okay, now let's see. Oh, let's make the large lasers green this time. I never keep track of what they're actually supposed to be, so... I know mediums are red. That's all I know. And I'm not sure about that.
Lasers are whatever color you want them to be.
Damn straight.
Yep. BPL is a merc unit. What mechs do we drive?
What mech do I drive? Part of me wants to say Warhammer, but another part of me wants to say, like, Stalker with all the LRMs. Oh, no, I got it. Oh, no, I've got it. My favorite build on a Warhammer. That's 2 PPCs in the arms, strip out everything in the torso, get rid of the SRM launcher, everything. Get rid of all the weapons except the PPCs, and then 2 snub-nosed PPCs in the torso. That's a toasty build, but it scares the shit out of people. What about you, Bulk?
Well, that depends. Are we allowing me to ride an assault mech, or are we using my preferred weight class of the heavy?
Take your pick. I just went with my favorite concept.
Oh, yeah. Favorite concept, which is... Okay, so... Concept mech would be a berserker with triple strength myomer and heavy lasers.
Oh, shit.
That mech earned its nickname the Double Sun. Because when I tried to sink 72 heat and failed, oh boy. It was a bad build.
But I bet it was fun.
Oh, it was hilarious getting it up to what it needed to be to kick on the triple strength, and then you'd throw on... you'd kick the supercharger on with it, and that thing would run 24 hexes.
Jesus. On
So
that
just
note, I can't hardly wait for Tex to get to the Charger to see how. I know he said he's intending on subverting our expectations on that one, so that's going to be an interesting video when he gets to it.
well, the Charger is a mech that can be made into a good mech. It's just the base design was crap.
It was. It's kind of like the Banshee that way. Okay.
Abomination of an Annihilator.
See, I'm still. I led the charge on getting the Bushwhacker into the list because I love the Bushwhacker.
Well, wasn't the Bushwhacker like one of the historically important mechs right before the clan invasion?
Actually, the mech didn't work until they captured a vulture to figure out how the hell the clans managed to make the vulture work because there wasn't enough shielding between the engine and the cockpit and they couldn't figure out how to make it work. So, narrow body fast mech fry pilot good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Tex is going to enjoy doing that one, if for no other reason than it gives him opportunity to talk about the Hell Memory Core and new mech development in like the 3040s, and also new mech development based off of clan technology. So it's all new shit. All new shit.
Yep, and that there we go into my my preferred favorite mech, and you've heard me say it before, but I'll say it again for those of you who haven't heard it already. I like the Inner Sphere's Thor.
The Thanatos. Yep. I remember you saying that. The other day I was looking at. I've got two models here. I'll show this off as I talk about it. I've got right here. This is a clan vulture. If you want to call it a mad dog, you can call it a mad dog. That's fine. But you see like this this shape of this body and the cockpit up here on the top and all that kind of shit. And that always gets talked about in terms of being an inspiration for a lot of the battle mechs, the Inner Sphere builds right after the war. And it never really struck me exactly how much the Avatar looks exactly like a vulture until I put them side by side. And it's striking. Like they're the same damn thing. It's just the Avatar is an assault mech because it's Inner Sphere tech. Workshop. Dude, I'm not going to get over that for a while. Might have to see if I can change the title of the show to that. Oh, we need a little bit more paint in that. I got too much medium. This here, guys, is an important lesson in putting icons and numbers on things. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to get the general idea of what you're putting down. And you can always go back and clean it up a little bit. I'm just going to get the vault number onto his shoulder pad here because there's not room on his back for it.
Yeah, Scrombles, for some reason, just doesn't have a large enough back for numbers.
Well, I mean, not when it's covered up with straps and pouches and
what
blood.
have us.
Mostly blood, frankly.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna show my lack of knowledge about Utah or the Fallout universe. Did Utah get the absolute crap nuked out of it?
Everything except like very small pockets of the world did. I don't know if Utah did or not, honestly. I don't think it's been covered very well.
Yep. I know that the Great Plains basically got screwed over by things like nuclear tornadoes.
Yep.
Salt Lake
Although
got
a
one,
lot of
but
that's
it's
going to
not-
depend on.
Okay, yes. Salt Lake is a glass bowl. Okay.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have like New Canaan and Ogden are big Mormon fort holdouts.
Yep. One of the Legionnaires, Splatterpunk, was actually talking about that. He wanted to do a East Coast Fallout, and we were just joking about, hey, yeah, what happens if what about all those Mormon and Mennonite conclaves up that way? What if they just like keep going on like nothing happened?
What if the Amish were just like, yup?
Yep, they sure did. They sure did kill each other, and then, 400 or 300 years later, they're actually the most technologically advanced group of
Just sitting there
individuals
looking at each
in
other
America.
and said, "This sure is nice to be at the top of the food chain." I'm putting on my main accent
Brotherhood,
there.
Brotherhood of Steel just rolls up with their clapped out, barely held together with baling wire and prayers, power armors, and they're like, "You have technological advances. We wish." And like, yes, we do, but we ain't sharing.
Okay, guys, here's the fun part of Scrumbles. Who's ready? Who's ready for blood splatter on Scrumbles? So, I did this last time with the Atlas. I didn't explain it as I did it. I've got some well thinned out red paint here. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to flood this brush with it. Hold up another one, just bang the shit out of it. And the idea here is that the paint's just going to splatter off of this, because you can't possibly paint a good blood spatter, but you can sure as hell do this.
Yep. Time for the money.
And like, this takes a lot of paint in the brush to do it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Just make sure you cover shit up before you do it, because, you know, I could be covering... God knows I've covered my keyboard in this shit often enough. And pay special attention to the general area of hands, because, as we all know, Scrumbles punch. That's pretty good, but we can get a little bit more on him.
Nope.
He can look like he just came out of a Grindhouse movie. May have to get some more paint on the palette.
So Vault 70 created New Jerusalem. Scrumbles punch for Van Sant. Would Van Sant tolerate Scrumbles?
I mean, he's there. We know he's there. He's in the opening of...
Yeah, I mean, him being there doesn't necessarily mean he's welcome.
Who's gonna tell him to leave?
Okay, what makes you think we're gonna tell him to leave and just not bribe him with, I don't know, Twinkies?
Scrumbles like Twinkies.
Scrumble like fizzy juice. He'd fit right in. Yeah, you really hate Scorpion. See, there's the problem. I think there would be quite a few Scorpion vehicles in Van Sant.
You think Van Zant's got a lot of quad mechs, do you? Or are you talking light tanks?
The light tank.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that bloody ass Scrumbles. What do you guys think? He's a fucking living nightmare. He might be Jason Voorhees.
Maybe.
It looks pretty good. Okay, he's even bloodier than the test model I did. This is perfect. Yeah, test model was the clean one. Oh dear. Oh man. I'm gonna have to send one of those to Grow. Or Tex, whoever wants it.
Mm.
I'll let them figure it out. I'm just gonna drop it in the mail with no context.
Yeah, but now I do remember about New Canaan.
Because that was...
Big boss.
Is that... God, which expansion?
That's
was it?
Joshua
Honest
Graham.
Hearts.
Honest Hearts.
That was my favorite expansion out of those four.
Boulder next.
I'm just gonna print a rock and cover it in blood.
Well, no, you just 3D print a pair of glasses and then stuff them into a styrofoam boulder.
If only I could get a good
Oh,
Gorn
what
model.
was Psyduck's Gorn?
Yeah, if you hadn't said it, I'd have remembered.
Not Grikek.
Slar. There, we both got it at the same time. Slar. You know, Slar, the one that was there on Cestus 3 with Kirk.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some boulders in chat now.
Perfect. So I'm just reminded, like, I'm going to tell another my son story, and I don't know if anybody cares or not, but it's a cute story. He loves Star Trek. He's 4 years old, loves Star Trek. I've got a video of him now explaining the plot to The Trouble with Tribbles. And the shocking thing is, like, he's right. Like, he might miss a couple things, but everything he says is accurate.
This'll wants us to hydrate.
Oh, shit. I guess I got to refill again.
Yep.
With this apple juice. It comes in this giant-ass glass bottle with a regulator on it.
Mm-hmm.
Slancha once more. It's good to know I can trust my wife to pick out a bottle of bourbon for me every now and then. That's not the worst thing I've had. I've paid a lot more for a lot worse bourbon.
Okay, since you're a bourbons man,
I'm a bourbon fan.
What is your opinion of Archangel bourbon?
I haven't had it.
Okay.
I wish I could give you more, but...
Yep. Been hearing good things about it.
Where's it made?
Locally.
Locally where?
Kansas City area.
No, it's bullshit. I hate it.
Yeah, and I suppose you don't like your barbecue with sauce either.
Okay. To be fair, I like some of my barbecue with sauce. Like, if it's a real good brisket, it doesn't need it. But, like, pork, chicken, yeah. Sauce that shit up. But you have to remember, I have no allegiance to Texas. I'm here because of work. But, you know, bourbon's a sacred thing.
What about Maker's Mark?
Maker's Mark is my baseline. I measure everything against it. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's a solid starting point. I prefer Maker's to... Well, I'm not even necessarily going to say that. For the price, most of the time, depending on where you are, because I've seen some weird shit in my life, I prefer Maker's to Woodford. For the price. When I was surveying in New Mexico, for some reason, Woodford was cheaper. I still don't know how that happened.
I'm going to say Maker's Mark to me is like the Porsche of bourbon.
I'm going to give you room to talk about that a little more. What do you mean?
Well, if you buy a Porsche, what can't you do with it?
well, I guess road trip, but depending on the Porsche.
Oh, you could totally road trip in a Porsche now if you're trying to road trip with your kids.
Yeah,
No.
that's different. But yeah, it is a solid, do just about everything pretty well bourbon. Like, it is strong enough it'll come through in a cocktail. It is smooth enough it's perfectly fine to drink by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by contrast, you get things like, you know, I don't tend to mix bourbon with anything, at least not much. So occasionally, like I'll make a Manhattan with bourbon or that kind of thing. But I've got a poster in my kitchen that was bought for me from the fine people at Kentucky for Kentucky. That it's a list of bourbon cocktails and how to make them. And my favorite recipe on the whole list is bourbon and Coke. And the recipe for it is pour 2 ounces of bourbon in glass, add ice, discard Coke.
Beautiful. As you should with a decent bourbon.
You should. You definitely should. Like I've run into some bad bourbons, like, and I still drank them straight, just on principle. But
welcome to the stream, Dad Not Mad with that Prime sub.
I'm sorry, what was Angel's Envy? Yeah, Angel's Envy's especially pricey around here. And I don't think it's cheap particularly anywhere, but you know, South Texas, I'm not paying $110 a fifth for anything. Like,
that's Johnny Walker Blue levels of money, and I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Johnny Walker Blue. Even green all day, every day.
You're not approaching like Pappy or Old Rip at that point, but that doesn't mean it's affordable.
Pappy's what, $5,000 a bottle now?
It depends on how old it is. Like Pappy 21 or Pappy 23, yeah, it's up there. Especially after, you know, the robbery some years ago, which I do think they eventually solved, but you know, you don't recover that shit. It's not like liquor has serial numbers on it most of the time.
All these haters of Johnny. Green will surprise people. Other than that, it's buy red and mix it.
I'm just not much of a Scotch guy.
Their specialty blends are very hit and miss as well.
See, this is reminding me very much of like my opinion of Guinness. I love Guinness Draft. Guinness Draft was the first beer I ever loved. Stop fucking around with it, Guinness Brewery. Leave it alone. Especially the Baltimore Brewery. Leave it the fuck alone. I don't want a Guinness Pilsner. That's not why I buy it.
But we want to experiment. That's what the smaller breweries are for, guys.
Motherfucker,
tell you.
You in the 80s, you were the largest alcohol conglomerate in the world. Knock it off. I want draft. Occasionally, I'm going to go, I haven't had an extra stout in a while. I wonder how that is. And I'm going to go like, this is bread. And then I'm going to go back to draft. But, you know, that's all I want.
Knob Creek.
Knob Creek is solidly okay. I don't think it's worth what they charge for it.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've got a bottle of Winchester over here on the shelf. This shit was... It was like Woodford Reserve expensive at the good liquor store here in town. And when I say good, it's like they have good prices. And like I got into it, and like I said, this shit was Woodford expensive, And it was like drinking gasoline. It was fucking awful. Like, sometimes you run into that shit. Don't get me wrong, I drank it. But, you know, I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody here. You can rattle stuff off, and as long as it's made in Kentucky, I'll have an opinion on it. But if you, like, come to me with like, oh yeah, this is Texas bourbon, I'm going to tell you to go to hell. I'm sorry, but that's my... Frankly, go to hell. Bourbon is sacred. It comes from one place. And that usually tends to be the greater Louisville area.
I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
Thank you. Thank you,
Although,
Kansas, man.
yeah, and I was like, it's one of those things. It's like, yeah, you can just, yeah. Is it made in the Louisville area? Yeah, well, it's probably solid. You can always get surprised by somebody that leaves Louisville and decides, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try over here.
I'm just going to go ahead and say this to everybody in chat. You can tell the difference between a Kentuckian and a not Kentuckian by how they say the name of that city.
Oh, Louisville?
Yup. Like, to me, it's funny. Like, I know, like, to a lot of other people, they're not seeing it. But to me, that's fucking hilarious because I'm hearing it. What did I do with that dark silver paint? That's the silver. Like, I am perfectly happy with, like... oh, there it is. With, like, rye whiskey coming from wherever. I am willing to grant Tennessee whiskey a pass because they don't claim to be bourbon, and bourbon doesn't claim Tennessee whiskey, even though legally speaking it is. They have the good taste not to claim it. But here's the thing. Bulk, when you say Louisville, you've got an I in it. And I know it's in the word, but we don't pronounce it.
Hey man, I'm not a resident of that.
That's fine. That's fine. That's why it's funny to me. Is like
I went there for 2 weeks. It was nice.
It depends on what part of Louisville you're in.
I was all over. I was kind of near the UPS place.
Okay.
Work related. But yeah. Outstanding barbecue. Oh my god.
You know, the weird thing is, like, you probably didn't have Kentucky barbecue while you were there. Because Kentucky barbecue is, like, the weirdest barbecue. Because it's not like, oh yeah, it's this style, or oh yeah, it's this kind of sauce. It's like Kentucky barbecue. What is it? It's mutton.
No, I didn't have mutton. I was going to say I did have stuff that was very vinegary.
Mm-hmm. Like you get down to Owensboro, and there are places that are like, oh yeah, what do you have? We have Kentucky barbecue. What's that? It's sheep. It's lamb. It's mutton.
I want this. I want to try this. If it's smoked lamb, I really want to try that.
Hey man, Owensboro is the place to go then, and like it's Western Kentucky. Go for it. Yeah. Like I know it's still a bit of a drive from where you are, but
it's a flight. Have to go give my boss, my direct boss, some shit and say I'm visiting your site again.
I gotta try that Kentucky barbecue in Owensboro. I'll come up with names for you in a bit. You know, didn't I say earlier I was going to drop the I guess you weren't in here yet. Somebody was asking about minis and where I post this shit. I was going to drop my Instagram in here. I guess I'll do that real quick.
Roast lamb is the real deal. I love lamb. It's yum.
I've never been able to. Well, to be perfectly
once
fair,
in a while.
To be perfectly fair, I don't think I've ever had lamb prepared properly. So I don't really know if I like it, but I've never had it in a way that I cared for it.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. I'm just going to drop that right there. Okay, now what was I doing? What? I guess I was working on this Executioner, as chat was nice enough to tell me what the hell this thing was. Because Catalyst did not see fit to make it easy to figure out what the hell mechs were based on the number they printed on the bottom. Which would have been nice. Would have been real damn nice. Let's get a little bit more purple on those legs. I'm not happy with all that white. Sometimes all you want is a light coat. Just communicate the hint of it there. That's enough. Sometimes. Sometimes it's not enough. Sometimes you need several coats. Sometimes the paint's too thin and it just kind of runs off. That's where I am right now. I'm kind of awfully happy with Catalyst over not giving me too many bubble canopies to try to shade up. On the other hand, I kind of miss the opportunity because bubble canopies are not terrifically common, and like they're a terrific opportunity to practice some shit, but they will also frustrate the absolute shit out of you. I want to reiterate to everybody in chat, I don't claim to be good at this shit. I just claim to like be comfortable doing it in front of people. Look at shit for a minute, go like, oh yeah, I think they could use a little bit more silver right there on the hip. And then just fucking do it. It's your world. Do whatever the fuck you want. Make your own Van Zant, boys and girls.
Amen to that. Well, I gotta say, the real life Van Zant was a hilarious story.
You know, my favorite part about it is the part where they fought off the Union Army and then got drunk and fell asleep. And then the Union Army came back and arrested everybody while they were drunk and passed out.
It was like the only reason the Union Army won is because everybody decided to celebrate too early.
It's like the Conch Republic, only with more guns.
Yep.
Look up the Conch Republic, Chad, if you're not familiar with it. It's a weird story. It's kind of the Van Zant story, but like the kid-friendly version. They hit a dude on top of the head with a coconut and then declared themselves to be independent.
The Bonked Republic. And I know what she said, the conch, but just...
No, I'm willing to settle for bonk. Bonk! It's an entire island there in Florida that's just made up of TF2 scouts. Just everybody's a scout.
Oh, good lord. It's Boston.
Everybody's Mark Wahlberg. That's what happened. Oh no! Oh no, silver paint! Don't do that! The twist cap came off of my silver paint. This could have been very bad.
Could this happen to you?
This is why Monument Hobbies sells a different lid for these things. By the way, I think that's kind of bullshit that, you know, they have the lids that they have and then they sell a different lid. But, I mean, in either case, they're better than GW, so I'm not going to actually complain.
And Tensor.
What's that?
And Tensor.
I'm not familiar with
Tensor
Tensor.
paint.
I've never used that.
Acrylics.
Okay. If they want to send me some paint, I'll try it out. But
That's like the model car paint
Got
to see in Hobby Lobby.
testers.
Yeah,
Okay.
tester. Listen, it's getting to be
Getting
wind down
late-ish.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I figure we've got about 5 minutes left in the scheduled stream, so I'm going to go ahead and
Yep.
let's go ahead and we're going to do a couple more things. We've done scrambles tonight. We've done 2 battle mechs. I'm going to put a little bit of a wash on these 2 battle mechs to kind of even out the purple bits on them a bit. But the hell's my purple wash? There it is. I just want to tell everybody real quick that Bulk came in at the last minute to fill in for Amber, who wasn't feeling good, and I just want to say thanks a ton to Bulk for doing that, because
No problem.
you didn't have to, but you did, and I appreciate the hell out of that.
Yeah, that's what the Legion does, man.
It is. It is. Doopy-doop-boo. I love Army Painter washes, as long as you put a little bit of water in them. They're amazing. And they're substantially cheaper than Citadel. So I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't tried their quick paints yet, but, if they're anything like the quality of their shades, they're there's no reason not to if you're looking for something like it. Okay.
Yep.
And that quick, I've got the wash on that Executioner. Thank you again, chat, because maybe now I'll actually remember what the hell that thing is. Scoopy-doop, boopy-doop-boo.
Yeah, if anybody's worked with that new Citadel paint line, let us know.
At some point,
it's too popular to shit on Citadel and Games Workshop by extension.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I just
gotta you gotta take it with a grain of salt, man.
I am honestly at a point where I'm willing to try just about anything, and I still have some Citadel paints mixed in with my sets because I haven't been able to find locally available alternatives. I've got a good source of a limited line of Viejo model colors, but I don't have the game colors, etc., etc. But I have a Warhammer store in town. So, I'm going to use the best paints that I can find for the jobs that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that means it's Citadel. As much as I don't want it to be true, there are certain colors. I can't get a good dark purple from anybody except Citadel. I'm sure I could order one from Monument. I just haven't. I can't get a good red, a solid middle-of-the-road red. I can get some good bright reds. I can get some good dark reds, but, nothing does the Mephiston red better than Mephiston red so far.
Yeah. Well, Mad Ducks, I'm glad you came in, and I hope you learned something, man. Gonna be doing this again next week?
I hope to. I'm trying to keep this at a weekly base. If there's anything left to finish up on these, when I haven't been drinking bourbon for 2.5 hours, I'll take another look at them and try to finish them up, put them on the Instagram, and I'll try to get them into the opening in the next video and show them off and such. So, guys, it is the end of the stream. I've got 38 people in here. I think I had somewhere north of 40, and that wasn't very long ago. But I'm thrilled to have had all y'all here, and you guys, I want you to have a good night, and thank you for coming in. And this has been the Numeric Workshop, and I might use that title again next week. Y'all have a good night. Oh, Bulk, that was great. Thank you, man. Let me know if you need it at some point, and if I can at all, I'll come in for you if you want me to. But I was going to go it alone, but it's a lot better when you have somebody to bounce stuff off of. Oh, apparently I'm still broadcasting. No, I didn't know y'all could still hear. Y'all have a good night. Fucking Twitch chat, let me tell you something. Night, everybody.